This is the Double Edge Factor, where high performance meets peace of mind and faith meets focus. I am your host, Rob Manuel, and peace and blessings unto you. Before we get going, be sure to like, follow, and hit that subscribe button, because the more positive interactions you put out there, the more they push this podcast to people who've never heard it before, which, of course, will allow us to grow, reach new ears, and have a greater impact on people around the world. And if you want 2026 to be the year that you perform and live at your highest level, head on over to rodmanuel.com. That's RODMANUEL.com. Join that email list and remember to like, follow, and subscribe. Most people don't realize this, but your mind is not neutral. It's a tracking system. Now, stick with me. I'm going somewhere with this. Your mind is a tracking system. It tracks threats, losses, embarrassment, pain. Why? Because survival has wired it that way. But here's the problem. What keeps you alive can also keep you stuck. If your mind is trained to constantly scan for pain, it will do things like overlook progress, minimize growth, relive old wounds, and interpret neutral moments as danger. See, pain becomes familiar, and familiarity feels like the truth. Focusing on the gain is not pretending that the pain didn't happen. It's just refusing to let pain become the primary data point of your life. You see, pain tells you something happened. It does not tell you where you're going. But many people live like it does. They say things like, I've always struggled. This always happened to me. I'm behind because of what I went through. And that's just your trauma talking. That's not your reality. If you only measure life by pain, you'll miss resilience, life lessons, skills developed, and capacity built. And you see, growth often happens quietly while pain screams and progress whispers. You see, discipline is learning to listen for that whisper. Paul said in Philippians, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal. You see, Paul had trauma, regret, persecution, and mistakes. But he didn't rehearse them. He acknowledged the past, then released its authority. Paul didn't deny his pain. He denied its leadership over him. And see, that's the model. You can honor what hurt you without letting it narrate your future. So, why do we default to tracking pain? This isn't a character flaw. This is conditioning. Your nervous system learned early that pain equals information. So think about it. Think about this at one point. Think about it. Pain once kept you safe. You see, your brain is wired to remember what embarrassed you, what hurt you, what failed you. Because remembering pain helps you avoid it again. But the problem is that system doesn't know the difference between past danger and present growth. So it just keeps scanning, even when you are no longer in survival mode. Also, pain gives identity before purpose. Pain answers questions like, why am I like this? It gives language to your confusion. But when pain becomes the story instead of the chapter, growth slows down. And you stop asking, what am I building now? And you keep asking, what happened to me? Pain also lowers your expectations. If you accept pain, you don't risk disappointment. Tracking gain requires courage, but tracking pain also feels safer. Hope stretches you, while that pain keeps you familiar. Pain will most definitely get your attention because people respond to wounds faster than progress. So the brain learns, if I focus on the pain, I'm seen. but attention isn't the same as healing. And then finally, pain excuses stagnation. This is a subtle one. This is subtle, but it's real. See, if I stay focused on what hurt me, I don't have to confront discipline I'm avoiding, or choices I'm delaying, or even responsibility that I'm resisting. See, pain becomes that explanation instead of that data. I want to talk about gain versus pain. And these are the moments people miss, like in your personal growth. Pain says, I still get triggered, right? But gain says, I recover faster, I notice sooner, I don't spiral as long. You see, healing isn't elimination, it's shortened duration. What about in your fitness and health? Your pain says, this hurts and I'm not built for this. But your gain says, my capacity is expanding. And soreness doesn't mean damage, it often means adaptation. Or how about careers and your purpose? Pain says, I got rejected again. But gain says, my standards are clearer, my questions are sharper, my boundaries are stronger. And see, progress often looks like discernment, not applause. What about relationships? Pain says, I still feel uncomfortable with conflict. But gain says, I speak up sooner, I don't abandon myself, I repair instead of withdraw. And you see, that's growth. And then finally, think about faith and your identity. Pain says, I doubt sometimes, but gain says, I don't quit when I'm in doubt. Faith matures when it endures questioning, not when it avoids it. All right. There are a lot of things we can do to train our minds to track progress, but I'm going to give you just 4. Okay. I want you to remember this is a practice. It's not a mindset shift. Okay. Number 1, build a proof of progress habit. So your brain needs evidence. And at the end of the day, write or ask yourself, what didn't knock me off today? What did I handle better than the last time? And also, where did I pause instead of react? No emotion, just facts. Facts will rewire that perception. Number 2, track your recovery time, not absence of pain. Okay. Mature growth looks like this: you quicker calm, shorter spirals, faster clarity. That's your measurable progress. Number 3 is going to be assign values to lessons, not just outcomes. So ask yourself, what did the situation teach me about myself? And you see, this allows your pain to become an investment instead of a liability. And number 4, separate memory from meaning. You see, just because something happened doesn't mean it defines you. Memory records, meaning assigns power. So you get to choose the meaning. Okay, I want you to ask yourself, what progress am I ignoring because it's quiet? What pain am I still using as proof instead of data? And finally, what would change if I tracked growth instead of wounds? You don't heal by forgetting pain. You heal by outgrowing its control. Until next time, honor the pain, track the gain, and keep on moving. That is it for today. If this episode added value, clarity, or even one push you needed, share it with someone who is tired of reliving what hurt them. The only way we grow this podcast is when you guys share it. The more you share, the greater impact we can have around the world. And if you want 2026 to be the year that you perform and live at your highest level, head on over to rodmanuel.com. That's RODMANUEL.com, where you will find resources, coaching tools, and more to help you live, lead, and perform at your highest level. You can also order a copy of my latest book, Faith on Demand, which is also available on Amazon, as well as other exclusive content. And as I always say, Be intentional with your words, be intentional with your thoughts, and be intentional with your actions. And always find a way to be a blessing to someone else today.